During the Great Depression, survival wasn't just about luck. It was about knowing what to grow. Hidden in backyard gardens were 25 powerful vegetables and crops that many today have forgotten. But these plants helped families weather the storm of America's darkest days. Skirret, the forgotten sweet root. Imagine a root vegetable that once graced the gardens of colonial farmers, cherished for its sweetness and delicate tenderness. This is skirret, a humble yet remarkable plant that has slowly slipped out of the spotlight over the centuries. Unlike the common potatoes or carrots we know today, skirret thrived even in poor and challenging soils where other crops struggled to grow. Its secret lay beneath the surface, a cluster of thin white roots tangled together like a sweet treasure waiting to be uncovered. Each skirret plant could yield enough roots to nourish an entire family, making it a valuable source of sustenance in times when food was scarce. The root's soft, juicy, and subtly sweet, almost like a natural candy, but with the comforting earthiness of a traditional vegetable. People would cook them in stews, roast them over fires, or simply boil them to enjoy their gentle flavor. Though skirret fell out of common use over time, replaced by more commercially viable crops, it still carries the essence of simpler times, a reminder of how nature provided for early settlers. Rediscovering skirret today is like tasting a piece of history, an invitation to slow down and savor the natural gifts that have quietly endured. Chicory, the coffee plant that saved mornings. Long ago, when coffee was a rare luxury, many people found themselves longing for the warmth and comfort of a morning brew. Entered chicory, a humble plant with deep blue flowers and roots that could be roasted and brewed into a rich, flavorful drink. Chicory became a lifesaver when real coffee beans were too expensive or simply unavailable. Farmers and families would carefully harvest the chicory roots, drying and roasting them until they turned a deep, inviting brown. The roasted roots released an aroma surprisingly similar to coffee, but with a slightly nutty, earthy twist. When brewed, chicory offered a comforting cup that warmed the spirit and gently awakened the mind. In times of war, trade shortages, or economic hardship, chicory was a staple in households across Europe and America. It wasn't just a substitute. For many, it became a beloved ritual, a small daily comfort that connected people to their roots and resilience. Even today, chicory lingers in some coffee blends and is enjoyed for its unique flavor and caffeine-free nature. It reminds us that sometimes the simplest plants can play the biggest roles in our lives, quietly saving our mornings one cup at a time. Lamb's quarters, the backyard superfood. Before spinach became the go-to leafy green, there was lamb's quarters, a wild plant often found growing freely in backyards and along fields. Sometimes mistaken for a weed, it quietly earned its place as a nutritious and reliable food source for centuries. Lamb's quarters thrived almost anywhere, growing quickly and abundantly with little care. Its leaves, tender yet sturdy, were packed with vitamins A, C, and K, as well as minerals like calcium and iron. For many early farmers and foragers, this green was a treasure hidden in plain sight. People would harvest the young leaves to cook like spinach, adding them to soups, stews, or simply sautéing them with garlic and butter. Its mild, slightly nutty flavor made it versatile and enjoyable. Beyond its taste, lamb's quarters nourished bodies during times when garden crops struggled to grow or were scarce. Despite its humble appearance, this wild green holds remarkable strength, a reminder that nature often hides the best superfoods in unexpected places. Even now, some gardeners and foragers celebrate lamb's quarters as a delicious, nutrient-dense gift from the wild, ready to thrive in the smallest corners of the backyard. Crosnes, the crunchy underground treasure. Crosnes might look like a curious little caterpillar curled up underground, but this tiny root holds a crunchy, nutty secret. Once widely cherished in gardens and markets, it has become a rare find today, a hidden treasure from the past. This underground tuber, also known as Chinese artichoke, offered more than just flavor. Its delicate, crisp texture and subtly sweet, nutty taste made it a favorite among those who knew its value. Farmers appreciated that Crosnes could be harvested late into the season and stored well through the winter months, providing a fresh, nutritious snack when other vegetables were long gone. Crosnes thrived in temperate soils and could grow in modest garden plots, making it a practical and delicious food source. But as tastes and farming shifted, this humble root slipped quietly out of the spotlight, forgotten by many. Today, those lucky enough to find Crosnes treasure their crunchy bite, often using them in salads or lightly cooked to preserve their crispness. They remind us how even the smallest, most unusual plants can carry a rich history and deep connection to the earth's gifts. Walking onions, the plant that grew itself. Imagine an onion that didn't stay put, but seemed to walk across the garden. Walking onions earned their name because they had a unique way of growing. They produced small bulbs at the top of their stalks. As these bulbs grew heavier, they would bend down and fall to the ground, where they would take root and grow into new plants. This fascinating cycle created an endless supply of onions, almost like the plant was moving and multiplying all on its own. For farmers and gardeners, walking onions were a reliable, low-maintenance source of food that seemed to have a life of its own. Beyond their quirky growth habit, walking onions were valued for their strong, sharp flavor, perfect for seasoning meals or adding a fresh bite to salads. They thrived in a variety of climates and soils, making them adaptable and easy to grow. Because they could propagate without much help, walking onions were often passed down from generation to generation, quietly sustaining families with their persistent growth and bold taste. In today's gardens, they remind us that nature sometimes has its own clever ways of providing, offering a glimpse of a past where food grew almost magically. Claytonia, winter's leafy gift. In the harshest months, when most plants lay dormant beneath the snow, Claytonia quietly thrived. Also called miner's lettuce, this unassuming green was a winter miracle, providing fresh, juicy leaves when few others could. Early miners and settlers discovered Claytonia's tender, slightly tangy leaves as a vital source of nourishment during cold seasons. Its ability to grow under chilly skies and even through frost made it a rare gift, a splash of green in the bleakest times. The plant itself was low-growing, spreading gently across the forest floor or garden patch. Its soft leaves held moisture and crispness, offering a refreshing contrast to the dry, preserved foods stored for winter. Families would gather Claytonia to brighten their meals and fortify their bodies with fresh vitamins when fresh produce was scarce. Claytonia's resilience made it a symbol of hope and survival, a quiet reminder that even in winter's grip, life finds a way to nourish and sustain. Today, this humble green continues to grow in hidden corners, a winter treasure waiting to be rediscovered by those seeking the simple, natural gifts of the earth. Yardlong beans, the vine that fed the South. In the southern fields and gardens, the Yardlong bean stretched its vines toward the sun, quietly feeding families through hard times. Known for its incredible productivity and resilience, this plant was more than just a vegetable. It was a lifeline. The vines could grow long and heavy with pods, sometimes reaching over a foot in length. These beans thrived even when rain was scarce, making them perfect for drought-prone areas where other crops might fail. One healthy vine could produce enough pods to feed an entire family, meal after meal. During the Great Depression, when money was tight and food was scarce, Yardlong beans became a beloved staple. They were cooked just like green beans, sautéed, boiled, or added to stews, providing much-needed nutrients and comfort. Their mild, fresh flavor made them a versatile part of many southern kitchens. Even today, the Yardlong bean stands as a testament to resilience and simplicity, a humble vine that quietly gave much more than its size suggested. It reminds us of the strength found in nature's gifts, especially during the toughest seasons. Sorrel, the zesty leaf with medicinal secrets. Sorrel's bright, tangy leaves brought a burst of life to meals that might otherwise feel dull or heavy. With a sharp, lemony flavor, it was like nature's little pick-me-up in the garden, awakening the senses with just a bite. Beyond its taste, sorrel held a quiet power that families leaned on in difficult times. Folk wisdom passed down through generations spoke of its healing qualities, easing digestion, soothing fevers, and supporting general health. It was a trusted green, often picked fresh to add to soups, salads, or sauces, turning simple dishes into something nourishing and refreshing. In days when medicine was scarce and every plant counted, sorrel was more than a flavor enhancer. It was a small but steady helper, growing wild or cultivated in humble kitchen plots. Its bright green leaves stood out even in poor soils, proving that sometimes the simplest gifts from nature could carry the greatest strength. With sorrel on the table, meals were never just about hunger. They were about care, comfort, and a quiet hope for better days. Oca, the Andean miracle. Oca, with its vibrant tubers, is a true miracle from the high Andes. This resilient root thrives where even potatoes struggle to grow, making it a vital food source for mountain communities for centuries. Its colorful tubers, ranging from golden yellow to deep reds and purples, are not only beautiful, but also packed with nutrition. Oca offers a sweet, tangy flavor that transforms simple meals into something special. It can be boiled, roasted, or even eaten raw, giving families many ways to enjoy its bounty. One of Oca's greatest gifts was its ability to store well through harsh winters. In regions where food could be scarce, these tubers became a reliable treasure, sustaining families when other crops failed. When brought to new lands, Oca adapted easily, quietly proving itself a miracle plant. Its endurance, flavor, and nutrition combined to make it a humble hero in kitchens and fields alike. With OCA on the table, the story of survival and hope was told in every meal, a reminder that even in the toughest places, nature provides a way. Groundnuts, the native protein powerhouse. Groundnuts, not to be confused with peanuts, are a wild vine with a remarkable secret beneath the soil. Instead of nuts, this plant produces protein-rich tubers, packed with nourishment to fuel the body. Native Americans knew groundnuts well and shared their value with early settlers. In times of scarcity, these tubers became a crucial source of sustenance, a reliable food that could be gathered from the wild or cultivated in home gardens. The vine's ability to grow in various soils made it a dependable crop. Its underground tubers offered more than just calories. They provided essential proteins and nutrients that helped families endure hard seasons. Gathering groundnuts was a way to connect with the land, a humble act of survival and gratitude. The plant's quiet presence in the background of history speaks volumes about resilience and the wisdom of native knowledge. In every bite of groundnuts, there is a story of shared traditions, of communities helping each other survive and thrive when food was uncertain. Trick 11. Tree collards, the never-ending green. Tree collards are a special kind of green that stands apart from regular collards. Instead of growing close to the ground, they grow tall, almost like small trees. This unique growth habit means they keep producing leaves for a very long time, sometimes even all year round in mild climates. For families relying on home gardens, tree collards were a blessing. Without needing to replant season after season, they could simply pick fresh, tender leaves again and again. This steady supply of greens helped fill plates and provide essential vitamins, especially during times when other crops might fail. The leaves have a mild, slightly bitter taste that brightens any meal. Cooked or raw, tree collards added color and nutrition to soups, stews, and salads alike. Because they were so hardy, these greens thrived in poor soils and harsh weather, qualities that made them reliable when food was scarce. In many ways, tree collards were a symbol of hope and endurance, quietly sustaining families through long seasons. Their tall stalks and lush leaves stood as living reminders that nature often provides steady abundance, even in the smallest garden corners. Scorzonera, the black root with golden value. Scorzonera, often called the black salsify, is a humble root vegetable with a mysterious dark skin hiding a creamy golden inside. This forgotten treasure was once a kitchen favorite, cherished not only for its rich flavor but also for its nourishing qualities. Its taste is gentle, slightly sweet, and nutty, a perfect ingredient for comforting winter dishes. When cooked, Scorzonera becomes tender and smooth, making it feel like a gourmet treat, even in the simplest of meals. One of the most valuable things about Scorzonera was how well it stored. Farmers and families could keep it through the cold months, a reliable source of calories when fresh food was scarce. Despite its importance in past centuries, Scorzonera slowly slipped out of favor. Today, it's a rare find, but treasured by those who rediscover its delicious golden heart. In the quiet winter kitchens of old, Scorzonera was a subtle luxury, nourishing bodies and lifting spirits with every bite. Chufa, the nut hiding in the ground. Chufa, also known as tiger nuts, is a small tuber with a big story. These little nuts grow quietly underground, hidden from view but bursting with sweetness and crunch. Their flavor is subtly nutty and naturally sweet, making them a perfect snack for both children and adults. Because they are rich in fiber, Chufa helped keep bodies healthy and energized, especially when other foods were scarce. What made Chufa special was how easy it was to grow and harvest. Even children could gather them from the soil, turning this humble root into a shared family treasure. Farmers valued Chufa for its resilience. It thrived in tough conditions where other crops struggled. And for many, it was more than just food. It was a comforting reminder that nature always offered a little sweetness, even in hard times. Though not as well known today, Chufa's legacy remains a quiet nut hiding in the earth, waiting to be rediscovered. Amaranth, the ancient grain that grew anywhere. Amaranth was truly a remarkable plant, a two-in-one survival gift from nature. During the growing season, its leafy greens provided fresh, nutritious food. But when harvest time came, it offered tiny, protein-rich grains that could be stored for months. Known and cherished by ancient civilizations, amaranth was prized not only for its versatility, but also for its ability to grow in many different soils and climates. Whether on dry hills or fertile plains, amaranth thrived, feeding people when other crops failed. Its grains were small but mighty, packed with nutrients that helped sustain families through hard seasons. Meanwhile, the leaves served as a valuable vegetable, often cooked or eaten fresh, offering vitamins and minerals to those who needed them most. Because it could grow almost anywhere, amaranth became a symbol of resilience and hope, a dependable source of food that connected the past with the present. Even now, Amaranth remains a quiet reminder of ancient wisdom, a plant that gave so much and asked for little in return. Sea kale, the coastal secret. Sea kale is a hardy plant that thrives where many others struggle, along rocky coasts, in salty air, and poor soils. This resilient green was a coastal secret, quietly nourishing those who lived by the sea. In early spring, its tender shoots emerge, bursting with nutrients and a mild, pleasant flavor. These shoots were a welcome sight after long winters, offering fresh greens when little else grew. Families harvested sea kale to fill their plates, especially during lean times when food was scarce. Beyond its taste, sea kale carried strength in every bite, packed with vitamins and minerals that supported health and well-being. It was a reliable gift from the wild shores, reminding coastal communities that nature provides even in the toughest places. Though less common today, sea kale remains a symbol of endurance and nourishment, a bridge between past survival and modern rediscovery. Malabar spinach, the heat-loving climber. When summer's heat made regular spinach wither and fade, Malabar spinach flourished. This climbing vine loved the warmth, twisting up fences and trellises with lush, glossy leaves that stayed fresh all season long. Rich in iron and vitamins, Malabar spinach became a vital source of nutrition during hot months when other greens struggled to survive. Families would gather its tender leaves, cooking them into stews or tossing them fresh into salads, enjoying both their mild flavor and health benefits. Its ability to thrive in heat made Malabar spinach a dependable garden treasure, especially in warmer climates where food could become scarce in summer. The vine's gentle climb symbolized resilience, growing strong when others faltered, feeding those who tended it with steady abundance. Even now, this humble climber holds a quiet place in gardens and kitchens, a reminder of nature's gift to those who patiently nurture it through the hottest days. Trombocino squash, the multi-purpose monster. Trombocino squash is a remarkable sight, long and curling like a giant green serpent twisting through the garden. These impressive squashes grew to surprising sizes, their thick skins protecting them well enough to store for many months. Families cherished the Trombocino for its versatility. When freshly harvested, its tender flesh was perfect for roasting, baking, or simmering into hearty soups. As the colder nights settled in, stored Trombocinos became a reliable source of warmth and nourishment when fresh produce was scarce. The squash's ability to last through winter made it a true gift, bridging the gap between seasons. Its long shape and sturdy vines meant it could sprawl across garden beds, taking up space but generously rewarding patience with a bountiful harvest. For those who knew its secret, Trombocino squash was more than just food. It was a symbol of preparation and survival, a plant that sustained families through changing seasons with quiet abundance. Waterleaf, the wild garden's secret. Waterleaf was a quiet presence in many wild gardens, thriving where other plants might struggle. It grew well in shady spots and poor soils, places where many crops failed to flourish. Its leaves had a unique mucilaginous texture, a gentle slipperiness that added body and warmth to soups and stews. This natural thickener made meals feel heartier and more satisfying, especially during times when every bite mattered. Families learned to appreciate waterleaf not just for its ability to grow in tough conditions, but for the comfort it brought to simple dishes. Gathered fresh or dried for winter use, it was a humble but valuable addition to any pantry. In the tapestry of wild greens, waterleaf held a special place, a secret known to those who understood the land's quiet gifts. Sunchokes, the sweet root that kept giving. Sunchokes, also known as Jerusalem artichokes, were a gardener's gift that kept on giving. These tubers spread underground, sending up new shoots year after year, creating a natural, endless harvest. Their sweet, nutty flavor made them a welcome addition to meals, but beyond taste, sunchokes were prized for their health benefits. Rich in inulin, a type of fiber that helps regulate blood sugar, they were especially valued by diabetics long before modern science understood why. Storing sunchokes was simple. They kept well in cool, dark places, ready to be pulled up whenever hunger struck. This dependable root provided a steady food source through tough seasons. For families seeking nutrition and resilience, sunchokes were a quiet hero in the garden, offering sweetness and sustenance with every harvest. Nettles, the stinging plant that saved lives. Nettles are infamous for their sting. Brushing against their tiny hairs could bring a sharp, burning pain. But this wild plant held a secret. Once cooked, those stings vanished, leaving behind tender, nutrient-packed greens. For many families, nettles were a lifeline during hard times. When gardens ran dry or winter's grip tightened, nettles thrived in the wild, offering a reliable source of vitamins and minerals. Beyond food, nettles were treasured for their healing powers. Folk wisdom passed down stories of nettle teas, easing aches and boosting energy, a natural remedy grown wild and free. Despite their prickly reputation, nettles were a humble gift from nature, turning pain into nourishment and proving that sometimes survival comes with a sting. Japanese burdock, the deep-rooted survivor. Japanese burdock is a plant built for endurance. Its long, slender root reaches deep into the earth, searching for water even during the harshest droughts. This deep-rooted strength made it a reliable food source when others failed. In Depression-era kitchens, burdock became a quiet hero. Its earthy, slightly sweet flavor lent itself perfectly to simple stir-fries and soups, bringing comfort during times of scarcity. Families cherished how just one root could stretch to feed many. Beyond its taste, burdock's resilience mirrored the spirit of those who depended on it, steady, enduring, and quietly nourishing. It wasn't just food, it was a symbol of survival and hope. Samphire, the salt lover's green. Samphire is a unique green that thrives where few plants dare, along salty coasts and marshes. Its crisp, salty crunch is like a gift from the sea itself. For families living near the shore, samphire was a precious resource, adding zest to meals that might otherwise be dull. More than just flavor, samphire was valued for its rich vitamin C content. In times when fresh fruits were scarce, this humble plant helped keep scurvy, a dangerous vitamin deficiency, at bay. People used it fresh, pickled it for later, or served it alongside hearty meats. Samphire's salty tang and bright green stems brought a taste of the ocean to the table, reminding everyone of nature's generous bounty, even in the toughest places. Celeriac, the ugly root with huge power. Celeriac may not win any beauty contests. Its rough, knobby exterior hides its true value. For families facing lean times, this humble root was a lifesaver. Dense and hearty, celeriac added both flavor and substance to simple soups and stews. Its earthy, celery-like taste brought warmth and comfort, even when fresh vegetables were scarce. One root could stretch a meal, filling hungry stomachs and providing essential calories. Though overlooked in modern kitchens, celeriac was once a trusted staple. It thrived in cold soils and stored well through winter, quietly supporting families when the harvests were slim. Mashua, the spicy mountain tuber. Mashua is a hardy root vegetable, a distant cousin to the bright nasturtium flowers. It thrives high in rough mountain terrains where few crops dare to grow. For communities living in these challenging places, Mashua was a vital resource, especially through the coldest, toughest winters. Its tubers carry a peppery, spicy kick that could bring life to the simplest dishes. When food was scarce, Mashua's bold flavor helped stretch meals, turning a few ingredients into something satisfying and full of warmth. Beyond taste, it was incredibly resilient, able to withstand harsh weather and poor soils. This toughness made it a quiet hero for survival, quietly growing where others failed. Even today, Mashua reminds us of nature's gift to those who know how to find it, a spicy, nourishing root that kept mountain families strong through lean times. Field peas, the drought-proof protein. Field peas are not the sweet, delicate peas you might think of. These are hardy legumes built to withstand dry heat and stubborn drought. For farmers and families facing tough, dry seasons, field peas were a lifeline. Their magic lay beneath the soil. As nitrogen-fixing plants, they breathed life back into tired earth, enriching the soil for future crops. This natural gift meant fields could recover year after year, even when weather was harsh. On the plate, field peas offered a valuable source of protein and nutrition. Simple, filling, and reliable, they fed families through uncertain times when other foods were scarce. Their resilience and usefulness made field peas a quiet hero of the farm, a symbol of hope and renewal, thriving quietly when conditions were far from perfect. In times of hardship, it wasn't just grit that saved families, it was what they grew. These 25 forgotten crops weren't just food, they were hope, healing, and survival. And maybe it's time we remembered them.